Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. So, today we're going to be doing our episode of Second Lord in the 8th house. And what happens when Second Lord is in the 8th house. And just on a side note, Kapiel Raaj is going to be here. The world's biggest astrologer is going to be here either tonight, as in the 22nd, or he might be here on the 23rd. I'm going to announce that on my Facebook. So if you want to know when you can watch it live and what time, go over to my Facebook. Also, I have some special news on my Facebook that you guys might want to peek at. Okay, I'm not going to announce it here, but it's on my Facebook. It's a pretty cool news. All right. So, second lord of the 8th house. What happens when your second lord is in the 8th house? That means the planet in your birth chart that controls your second house was sitting in the 8th house during the time of your birth. Well, first of all, second house is a house of family. It's a house of wealth. Wealth as in savings, accumulated wealth, wealth that you have hoarded. It's family's assets. It's like maybe your dad and mom gave you property or a lot of money in your bank account after they died, or they gave it to you while they were alive. That's family assets. Family business is represented by second house. You took over your mom or dad's business. Okay, it represents family as a whole, family lineage. It represents a voice as in communication and your ability to speak, how well you speak, how badly you speak. It's art and culture as well. Okay, so a lot of things are represented by the second house. Then we go and learn about the 8th house. 8th house is what? 8th house is known as a house of sudden events. Sudden transformation. It's a house of ups and downs in life. It's a house of surgeries and accidents. Because accident is not something that, oh yeah, I'm going to be getting into an accident next Thursday at 10 a.m. No, it happens. So it's sudden events. And surgeries happen because it's the 8th house of digging deep. And the planet that originally controlled this house was Mars. And Mars is a surgeon. So Mars digs deep. 8th house is a house of occult. 8th house is a house of things buried underground, dealing with death. It's a house of secret things. It's a house of secret relationships. It's a house of inheritance. It's a house of government taxes. So a lot of things are represented by the 8th house. So when your second house lord goes into the 8th house, shows that what you value is secret information. What you value is creating money through secrecy. Your sense of value comes in through being in secret sexual relationship with people. Sex transforms you and gives value to your self-esteem and gives value to who you are as a person. You dig deep in relationships. You dig deep in sexual relationships. For you, sex is not just a pleasurable thing. Sex is for you to go in deep into yourself and explore yourself through the other person into a physical sexual intercourse. You may have a lot of secret relationships amongst your family members. A lot of hidden secrets regarding the family are in your life. Maybe something happened with your dad or mom. Maybe your dad went to jail. Maybe your brother committed some sort of a murder and nobody knows about it. You're holding that as a secret. So a lot of families' secrets are regarding, in this placement. This placement also shows that you will end up receiving family inheritance. Because second house is a house of wealth. 8th house is, house of the death scenarios, house of insurance also, but a house of, assets that you have received through death. So what does that mean? Inheritance. After your mom or dad passed away, you received their inheritance. Okay? So that is the major bundle of things that happen here. You spend your money on secret investments. Maybe you invested in oil. You invested in coal. You invested in jewelry. Jewelers are seen. Family business could be in jewelry as well with this placement. But that also depends on the planet as well. And it also shows you spend money on secret sexual relationships. Meaning that you may have had affairs and you spend a lot of money on your mistresses or misters. Because, hey, even women have fun these days, okay? So all of these things can be represented by the second house. But depending upon what planet goes into the second house, that's how mainly you can determine what is going on. Now, one important thing before I go into planets in the eighth house, eighth house is also the house of sudden wealth. Eighth house is a house of lottery. So whenever second lord goes into the eighth house, especially even if if especially a benefic planet like Jupiter or Venus, it can represent sudden gain through lottery in Mahadasha of Jupiter or Venus, and Antradasha of if any planet is looking at Venus. So lottery win or sudden windfall of money can seen through the eighth house. Venus also is a creative planet. It can show sudden burst of fame in someone's life. Your way of ability to express art and your ability to express, your performing artisticness is very dramatic and very dark. So we'll do that now with the planets through, in the eighth house. So let's say Sun controls your second house. Sun goes in the eighth house, shows that you received a lot of inheritance through the father. The relationship with the father had a lot of deep-rooted issues in your life. Your father relationship with the father and family was really a transformative event in your life. Whether good or for bad, well, that determines on the sign. And since Sun rules only one sign, and Sun rules the sign of Leo, and when Sun goes into the eighth house of Aquarius, shows a lot of karmic backlog regarding father. Your father must have been abusive to you. Your father must have been even verbally abusive to you. There are a lot of secrets regarding the father in your family. Okay, and just father brought a lot of karmic heaviness into your life in this life. Moon goes into the eighth house. This shows that your mind, because moon represents your mother, your mind, your peace of mind, your ability to think. It shows what you value, okay, is about deep thinking. You want to get to the bottom of things. And also there's deep-rooted issues with the mother. There are secrets you have held regarding your mother to the world that you will probably never will expose unless the eighth lord is in the ascendant, because eighth lord in the ascendant exposes a lot of secrets. And it shows that your mind is in a very turbulent place because of the fact it's in the sign of Saturn, Capricorn, because if Cancer rules the second house, it's going to be in the sign of Saturn's Capricorn, which is it's an earth sign, but it's a very dark place. It's a very hardcore sign. It shows the reality of the world. And moon is a very soft planet. So it's like a soft egg is being landed on a hard ground. So there's going to be a lot of fear and anxiety. Person can have a lot of, panic attacks. They can even see things that are not of this realm too. Remember that. There's a lot of psychic ability with this moon as well, because moon is also intuitive. So your intuition is very strong about certain events. You may see some things that you may not want even your enemies to see. Okay? Let's say if Mercury rules your second house and goes into the eighth house. Mercury is what? Mercury is your intelligence, logical mind, analytical mind, business, writing, communication. So it shows that you took your family's wealth and you invested. You knew how to invest that wealth. Mercury is a curious planet. So Mercury you can be a very good financial analyst, and you can be a very good financial planner for your family assets. Even you can work in insurance, life insurance business, as being in the eighth house, because Mercury is a calculated planet. It's accounting, Mercury always. So it's dealing with death and finance at the same time. So you can be a financial advisor in terms of what happens with life insurance money. You can be an attorney who takes care of family assets and family wealth. And Mercury here can show that somebody who is very knowledgeable and very curious about the occult world. They're very much, have this philosophical outlook to the dark side of the world. Like if Mercury is, ruling the Gemini, it goes into the sign of Sagittarius. So a lot of knowledge is derived through secrets. A lot of knowledge is derived through underworld, occult, and death-like situations. Let's say Mars goes into this 8th house. Mars controls your 2nd house, goes into the 8th house. Mars is a natural malefic planet. Mars is a soldier. Mars is energy. Mars is your willpower. Mars is your fighting ability. So what, and Mars also represents your brother. What this shows is obviously there was a lot of transformative and a lot of ups and downs with the brother in the family, if there was a male brother, which has to be determined through 11th and 3rd house. You may be the only child, but if you have a male sibling, lot of ups and downs with them. And there's also, since 8th house also, I forgot to say, it represents the married life as well. Not just the sexual life, but your life after marriage, because it's the 2nd to the 7th house. It's what you gain after marriage. So Mars here can show a lot of passion in married life, a lot of energy in the married life, a lot of sexual energy happening in the married life, But it also shows that there could be a lot of physical ups and downs. Like you may have suffered a lot of physical abuse as well, through the family and a family afterlife, especially for a woman. But the thing is, though, Mars in the 8th house kind of controls the original 8th house. So what this can show that there's energy and action to go deep into things. So although it may not represent physical violence in your life, especially due to the sign placement, but more so will be through the nakshatra that'll show if there was violent events or not. So Mars in the 8th house can show that someone's resources, what someone values, it is that their source of value comes through when they're digging deep for something, when they are, being mechanical regarding something. So usually with Mars in the 8th house can show different things, that your family perhaps was either in a medical business or engineering business. So you can be a civil engineer, oil engineer. You can be working in the mines as an engineer. And Mars is a natural detective because it controls the 8th house. So it shows there's a lot of energy. You value secrets. You uphold secrets to the utmost strength. Like somebody will have to fight you and kill you to get secrets from you. If you have an affair, you will do whatever it takes to keep that affair secret. You will not let it come out. Because again, Mars is the soldier of the kingdom. Mars is a soldier of the king. He fights for the king. 11th house is the gain of the government. So it can show somebody who fights to give government something. Meaning what? It can also be a tax officer. Mars, as in the 8th house, can represent a tax officer dealing with finance, because not only is now the 2nd lord of finance, but it's now in the 8th house of government finances. Let's say Venus rules your 2nd house and goes into the 8th house. What Venus shows, Venus can show several things here. First of all, Venus is relationships, love, romance. It represents wife in a man's chart and represents marriage for both men and women. So when Venus goes into the 8th house, it shows that your relationships become this huge burden on you, and your marriage becomes this huge bundle of transformation in your life. There's sudden ups and downs, especially let's say if it's Taurus ruling the 2nd house, it goes into the 8th house of Scorpio. It shows that first of all that you will run into a woman who is very turbulent in her life, who may have a really bad relationship with a mother, who may have been sexually abused. So when you got married without knowing these things, she now brought those qualities in your married life. Your assets, however, Venus can actually show a lot of assets after marriage, even though it's in the 8th house, but Venus is bringing the energy of the 2nd house. Your assets, your family, your own savings, or your savings for your family are built after marriage through your spouse. So although you are having the turbulent marriage, up and down, a lot of secret affairs. You've had a lot of secret affairs before marriage, and they could be after marriage too. Absolutely. But a lot of assets was built through marriage and after marriage. You can be a regal person. You love the sensual pleasure of sex, and you love deriving money and assets through it. If a woman has this, she could be in a corporate world using her body as a tool to gain wealth, which can also represent prostitution as well. It's not just people sleeping in the corporate world or the movie industry or this and that you hear. It can also be prostitution with Venus. So you got to really see what's happening here, But again, 8th house is a really dramatic house. No matter what planet goes in there, it's going to suffer no matter what. And Venus being in a sign of Mars really shows a lot of, suffering through physical abuse or use some sort of a physical violence in marriage, unless there's a positive aspect of Jupiter. Let's say Jupiter goes into the 8th house as the 9th house lord. As the 2nd house lord. What Jupiter shows is that your knowledge, what you value is secret knowledge. What you value in life, your assets become occult knowledge. You love secret knowledge like astrology, tantric, mysticism, numerology, magic, black magic, white magic, whatever kind of magic. You're into sadhana, you're into deep occult, practices. And that's what you value. You drive your money through that. But you can also be an insurance officer, and you can also be a financial analyst, because Jupiter also represents banking and finance. I have met quite a few bankers who are into astrology or astrologers themselves. I've met quite a few bankers who are into tantric siddhis. So both of these can be determined by Jupiter being in there. And especially if it's a Scorpio sun and Jupiter rules the 9th house and the 5th house, it can show that the person is working in a financial field, especially insurance. Okay? Saturn rules your 2nd house. Saturn rules your 2nd house, goes into the 8th house. First of all, anytime Saturn is a natural malefic, anytime Saturn is in the 6th, 8th, 12th, or 3rd house, it does very well. So here Saturn blesses you with a long life. Saturn blesses you with ability to, withstand the ups and downs of marriage. And it also shows that the family assets are very much secure. Saturn doesn't let it go ups and downs too much. But what Saturn shows is, again, Saturn is what? Saturn is delay. Saturn is boundaries. Saturn is a structure, organization, and discipline. It shows that one must be very disciplined and very much patient in building family assets, especially joint assets after marriage. However, what Saturn does, Saturn is a cold planet. And Saturn in the 8th house may limit your sexual life. May give you some sort of a, not some sort of sexual problem, but just don't have the desire to be that sexual in life. Or you married somebody who's not so sexual. And so your married life, your sexual life is really, just cold. You may not have had so many sexual relationships in your life as well. And your family's assets are built very slow in life. Whether it's your own family, your own assets, or joint assets are built very slow and built over time. Saturn can also represent oil, working in the oil business, working in the iron industry here, working in mining. You could be a mining engineer, or you could be just working in mining as a construction worker, especially if you're going through Sadhi and Saturn is controlling the 2nd house of Capricorn and goes into the 8th house and can really show mining. I've seen quite a few horoscopes with that. So guys, this was my analysis of 2nd lord in the 8th house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your 2nd lord is placed and if it's in the 8th house, for that, check out the links below. Check out my books there, Astrology at the Speed of Light and Conjunctions at the Speed of Light. And when you get these books, I will send you the link to look at your own chart. Just make sure you follow the directions below. And remember, KRSchannel interview is going to be happening this week, either tomorrow night or day after that. Just make sure you look at my Facebook for that news. And a special news, as I said, is waiting on Facebook for you guys to read. All right?